During the coming weeks, we'll be looking at some ideas that might or perhaps might not be new to you. So let's pause for a moment to reflect on what it is that will make an idea come to life, grow and multiply. To do this, I've borrowed some, let's call them rules, from an Eastern tradition. They reflect a wisdom that to me still feels very much in keeping with the secular mindfulness practices we'll be working with. There are 8 of them in all. The first of these rules is for us to take small steps. It seems many of us are inclined to resist change, even at the best of times, and it can be particularly challenging to make a big change, have a big revolution all at once. Not least because doing so can often cause us to feel overwhelmed by the process, or have us become disillusioned and give up on it before it has had a chance to properly take root. So this rule would have us take small, manageable steps, but it would have us ensure that we actually take them. In this way, it would have us choose this middle path to ensure that the idea doesn't disappear, dissipate, or become forgotten. It suggests that we take a small step today, take another small step tomorrow, and one more the next day. Taking a series of small steps in this way helps us support a process of gradual and sustainable evolution, rather than one of daunting and often self-defeating revolution. The second rule, if you will, is to accept and even welcome mistakes. New and stimulating ideas inevitably cause us to make mistakes. Mistakes are a sure sign we're trying something new. They're an indispensable part of the process. You might be relieved to learn there won't be an exam at the end of this course. However, in many more academic courses on offer, we'll learn the stuff presented to us and then be examined on it. This process is quite the opposite to the way we learn from our experience from life. There we are more commonly first confronted with an exam of sorts, which provides us with an opportunity to learn a lesson in retrospect. This means that there are going to be many exams we don't pass. It's just part and parcel of the process of trying out new things and developing new ideas. To live life to its fullest will almost certainly make many blunders along the way, and that's okay. The next so-called rule is to apply discipline to our life. Without discipline, we're unable to achieve what we hope to achieve or develop the ideas we want to develop. The secret with discipline is to see it as an enabler, an empowering tool, rather than a kind of burden or tedious task. If you're at all familiar with martial arts, you may recognize discipline as a characteristic element. In the same way, gentle discipline sits very neatly with the mindfulness practice. It's a tool that allows us to practice what we want to practice and stick with what we hope to stick with. Rule number 4 would have us focus more on the journey and less on the destination. When you think about it, our ideas are in themselves a journey. Everything we've created or invented as a species has started out as an idea in someone's head. And it turns out there's an actual process involved in developing our first thoughts through various stages into some kind of big project or massive result. This process can never be a static utopic destination which we might or might not reach. It's always a journey. And if we become too focused on a particular outcome, we're likely to lose perspective. So often an idea will have us start off in one direction, and then as we move towards that destination, realize that there's a different destination to head towards, and then perhaps another, and yet another, and so on. Of course, having a destination is essential because it provides us with a bearing on where to take our idea. But it's the journey itself that's the thing. What most needs our attention is the process of developing and spreading and growing up the idea. Rule number 5 is to focus on the present moment, not least because this is where the journey takes place. Repeatedly coming home to the present moment is a repetitive theme that nimbly weaves its way throughout this course. But then it turns out the present moment is all we have. The past is but a memory, and the future but an idea. The only real thing is this time, right now, in this space. And to focus on this moment is to apply ourselves to this moment. So if you find you're very busy at this moment with much else going on, and you see you don't have the necessary time or resources or whatever, the advice is to just take a small step to ensure the idea is not lost, to allow it to anyway evolve and propagate and develop. And to do this in the present moment takes us to our next rule, which is to cultivate our idea with as much passion and heart and determination as we can muster. A wise master once suggested that there is somewhere a museum of procrastination, which contains the most outstanding books never written, the most remarkable inventions never produced, and so on. So my plea to you is not to allow your ideas to end up in that museum of procrastination. Instead, apply yourself now. Apply yourself with gentle discipline, with passion, and with care. And do so in the small steps rather than the big steps. And do so in the present moment. The next and second last rule is to do everything we do in line with our values. What do I mean by values? For me, values are things like respect, trust, passion, discipline, compassion, courage, and so on. It's values like these that provide a solid foundation to our ideas and give them meaning. Values not only strengthen ideas, but they also unite those who share them. So values can make the idea robust, and they can make the performance of the people that develop the idea just as robust. You'll see that personal values play a central role in this mindfulness course. Establishing your values will allow you to behave with intention, rather than from an unconscious place of scarcity, fear, or insecurity. All of which brings us rather elegantly to the last of these wise, time-honored rules, and possibly the most fundamental of them all. It's a rule from which all others should perhaps start. Rule number 8 is a rule of being free, of letting go of our fears, of fully embracing change. Ideas need change. That's the nature of ideas. So the invitation is to find the courage to step out of your comfort zone over the coming weeks, to let go of your barriers. The invitation is to view the ideas in this course with what mindfulness practitioners call a beginner's mind. Enjoy the program. I'm so delighted you've joined.